Just today, we got some brand new information that links Montreal to Edmonton and could lead to Sean Monahan being traded to the Oilers. We'll be breaking that down. Plus, a Hall of Famer, Marian Hossa, has some incredibly high praise for Habs' first overall pick, Juraj Slafkovsky. Finally, we'll be talking about a Habs prospect in Sean Farrell and just what he is doing in the NCAA, so you won't want to miss this edition of Habs Digest. Hello, bonjour, ahoy, and welcome to today's news edition of Habs Digest. I'm your host, Josh Gosse, alongside my co-host, Jesse Poirier. And really quick, before we get into the video, if you haven't already, leave the video a like, subscribe to the channel. About 70% of you guys who are watching aren't subscribed. It really helped the channel out. So if you're enjoying our daily content, leave a subscribe. It doesn't hurt you, and it helps us a lot. Jesse, our first topic today. Sean Monahan trade to the Edmonton Oilers? Could that potentially happen? We had an interesting story come out today from Marco D'Amico, a Habs writer, and here's what he had to say. He was listening to a segment on 98.5 FM, and Habs commentator Danny Dubé was talking about Sean Monahan and potential suitors. So take a look at this quote. Teams with a top line that produce 40% of their scoring are going to want a guy like Monahan who can bring a 200-foot game and secondary scoring. And I'll tell you who will be interested. Dallas for sure. Edmonton for sure. Then when you look around the league at Colorado, they have one line working right now as well. So he mentions a few teams, Dallas, Edmonton, and Colorado, but he goes on to say this, quote, I think, however, that Edmonton and Dallas first and foremost will be interested in Monahan, and don't be surprised if the Canadiens ask for Xavier Bourgault. He's playing in the Oilers organization right now. He's a former first-round pick, and the Canadiens have already spoken to the Oilers about him in the past. So, Jesse, clearly the Habs have a target in Xavier Bourgault, and potentially we could ship Sean Monahan out for him. What do you think about that potential return, Sean Monahan, for a former first-round pick and maybe more from the Oilers?
I think it's really enticing, but you have to keep him. You know, I know that so many pundits are saying that we have to trade Sean Monahan because he's in a contract year. There's not going to be many second, or third line. I definitely consider him second line for the Montreal Canadiens centers out on the market. So he's going to be commanding a big price that it's kind of rare, kind of valuable, and that's why we should get rid of him. But I think exactly because he's valuable is the reason that we should keep him. And I know that this is a tough call, Josh. This prospect, Xavier Bourgault, looks really, really enticing. Looks like he's going to be a great NHLer, but I just feel like we still need to have our veterans and our mentors, especially in the forward group. We're so young on defense, and many of our forwards, especially our top players, are very young. So I just think that Sean Monahan, just for the mentorship that he brings, his face-off prowess, and just the fact that he bleeds for his team night in, night out, is just the reason why you have to make the tough call to keep the man.
Interesting. I wouldn't say I'm surprised because I love Sean Monahan. However, I think I'm going to take the opposite stance in this one. Not often we disagree on this show, Jesse, but I also love Sean Monahan. I agree he's an amazing leader. He has 16 points, one of our leading scorers this season. But I do wonder, with some young guys' contract extensions looming, of course, our young defenseman in a few years, Caufield very soon, it depends what Monahan's price will be. I don't want to say yes, for sure, get rid of him, or no, for sure, keep him, but depending on his price tag, if he demands maybe $4 million a year over the next 2 years, I wouldn't mind taking a flyer, but if it's higher, I think we may have to move him. Especially with how he's playing right now, some team might pay him a bit more, even with his injury history. And as I just showed on the screen, Xavier Bourgault was a former 36-goal scorer in just 43 games in the Q, and he made that jump straight to the AHL this year. He had the option to go back to the Q. He did not. He's playing in Bakersfield in the AHL, so his development's coming along well. I don't think a one-for-one swap would be great. Maybe another pick or something from Edmonton, if they're willing to give that up for Monahan, if they really want to make this push. But to be honest, I think if the price is right, we can move him. Do I think that Xavier Bourgault is enough for Sean Monahan? Based on how he's playing so far this season, if he continues it, maybe not. Because this trade may not happen in the next week, may not happen in the next month. This may come closer to the trade deadline, so there's a lot of speculation, a lot of the season left to be seen for not only Monahan, but other teams' prospects, maybe potential draft positions. So as of now, though, I think if we can get a good return, if the asking price is right for Monahan, I wouldn't mind shipping him out. I mean, I don't know, maybe we disagree a bit on this one, Jesse, but I will agree with you on the fact that Monahan is key to this team. He's a great mentor for these guys, and if the price isn't right, I think we have to keep him at all costs. Topic 2 today, Jesse. This one's exciting. A Hall of Famer praises our first overall pick, Juraj Slafkovsky. Check this out. We have a quote from Marian Hossa on the Slovak NHL website. Quote, his career has started very well. He is talented, strong with the right head. He already made the first historical mark by being the highest drafted Slovak. It's a big deal for such a small country. And there will be a lot of pressure on him. Montreal's the cradle of hockey. I believe he will be able to do it all because he has a great perspective to improve. And coming from a Hall of Famer, a guy who just had his number retired by the Blackhawks, Marian Hossa, a legend in not just Slovakia, but all of NHL history, for him to come out and say something like this about Slafkovsky, I know it's a fellow Slovak countryman. He's never going to say something bad about him, but you know that he's been talking to Slafkovsky. We've heard that too, and to really hear the confidence from one of the best players, I guess, in NHL history, it's really confidence-inducing for me. What about you, Jesse? What do you think of this?
Absolutely. It's always nice any day where a hockey legend agrees with you in the stance that we've been taking all this year, that Juraj Slafkovsky should stay, and the fact that he should actually spend the entire year. But there's two reasons why Marian Hossa feels that way and why we do as well, Josh. And firstly, that's because Montreal's in a rebuilding year. It's all about the young players. He literally came into a perfect environment for him to develop his confidence, for him to get his time at the NHL level at the highest pace, because that's his biggest issue, is just adjusting to the pace. And he's going to be doing that at a quicker rate in the NHL than in the AHL. So I think, just those factors combined with also that he gave praise for Marty St. Louis in really managing his ice time effectively. Now, Josh, we've seen him over the past couple games where he's risen up the lineup. He's gotten more ice time, and that actually was at its pinnacle in his last game where he got the most time that he has so far this season. So he's really getting nurtured. He's really getting mentored by Marty St. Louis. So because he's doing such a good job with this young player, which is phenomenal to see from our new head coach, I think these two reasons combined is why I totally agree with Marian Hossa, why he should stay up this year.
Yeah, and we've talked about this a lot. Confidence. AHL stints are often to boost confidence, and Juraj Slafkovsky has all the confidence in the world. When he scores, he is screaming from the top of his lungs. His effort on the ice is incredible, especially I found defensively recently. He's really hustling after pucks. Actually, if you guys are advanced stats guys, JFresh, one of the top advanced statisticians, brought up or made a Juraj Slafkovsky player card, and it shows that he has been finishing around the net at one of the highest rates in the NHL and definitely the best on his team. His defense isn't quite there according to that card yet, and you guys can go look at that if you want, but regardless, it's showing that Slafkovsky has a lot of potential as a scorer, and I think keeping him in the NHL is the right choice, and it's just really cool, right? Probably the best Slovak hockey player of all time in Marian Hossa, to just praise our guy Juraj Slafkovsky. Of course, they're going to praise their fellow countrymen, but if they were like, I think Hossa is the kind of player too that if he saw someone was too arrogant or really wasn't personifying what Hossa liked in a hockey player, he wouldn't say these things. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like, for sure, he's a little bit biased, as a Slovakian national. We're biased too, because we're Habs fans. We want to see him succeed. We're just of the opinion that he should stay. But even objectively speaking, he's fourth on the Habs in expected goals. And when you're considering the seasons that Kirby Dach, that Cole Caufield, that Nick Suzuki are having, all things considered, he's having a phenomenal season. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him score at least 20 goals this year, which I think if you tell any Montreal Canadiens fan at the beginning of the season, hey, Juraj Slafkovsky is going to score 20 goals this year as an 18-year-old, I think that we'd all be really, really happy with that.
Yeah, we would for sure. And it's also impressive that he has 7 points and he has the 4 goals when his two of his main line mates this year, Michael Pezzetta, has 0 points and Jake Evans has just 2 assists and no goals. Slafkovsky's managing to put up points at a higher rate than we really could have expected based on his line mates, and clearly Marian Hossa believes that that's going to continue for a long time in the future. Final topic today. As always, a little Habs prospect update, quick hitter at the end. Sean Farrell is dominating the NCAA. I believe we've only mentioned Sean Farrell 1 or 2 times on this channel. He's not been a guy that we've mentioned a lot, but he really should be. Of course, Lane Hudson and Owen Beck and even Filip have been the guys that we've been bringing up over and over again. But Sean Farrell is doing work in the NCAA. He's playing for Harvard, of course, Division I NCAA hockey in the States. And just look at these stats this season. 11 games played, 7 goals, 11 assists for 18 points. That is crazy. Like, if you guys don't watch NCAA much, that is like really, really good scoring pace for college hockey. Not only that, just yesterday, he scored a tying goal in the third period and won the game in overtime. Jesse, where do you rank Sean Farrell on your list of maybe favorite Habs prospects? Because I'll give you my quick list right now. Lane Hutson's still my favorite, but as of right now, I'm actually slotting Sean Farrell in at number 2 above Owen Beck. I know that seems kind of ridiculous, but I got Sean Farrell at number 2 just behind Lane Hutson in my favorite prospects.
Yeah, I think that we'd have to see him near the top because he's just showing so well in preseason and everything else. He's a really smart player. And I think that he's going to fit in really nicely in a Marty St. Louis system. Himself being a little bit of a smaller player, so well, that was a little bit of a knock on him. But we've seen if Marty St. Louis can bring the best out of a player like that, if there's any coach, that can do that it's definitely Martin St. Louis. So I'm really, really excited. I definitely have him near the top. I think he's going to fit in really well with the system. Like, he looks like a complete steal to get him in the fourth round. And what I like about him right now is that he was kind of had the rep as more of like a setup guy. But now we're seeing over the last string of games where it's like he can actually have like an amazing shot as well. So are we looking at like possibly like another Nick Suzuki type player that is a great setup man, but then if the man's covered where he has an amazing shot as well? And I know he's a little bit different, but I just can't help but think of like Brendan Gallagher and the Sean Farrell comparison, just because, Brendan Gallagher was picked in the 5th round, Sean Farrell in the 4th, a little bit later on, for different reasons. And they're definitely both different players, like I mentioned, but I see them both as, just as Brendan Gallagher was a key contributor to this team for many years, I see Sean Farrell having the possibility of doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, to be honest, it would not shock me to see Sean Farrell make the Habs as soon as he is done in college. He has looked that good. I mean, I've seen people talk who go to these Harvard games, who watch him play, and they're just fascinated by him. He just seems to be dominating the ice, and no matter who they're playing against, he plays power play, he plays penalty kill. I believe he plays center right now, if I'm not mistaken, but I think he projects more as a winger on the next level. I could be wrong on that, but regardless, he's like, his skill is just really showing off, especially in the last few games. He looks like a man amongst boys sometimes if you watch his highlights, and he just looks super smart. Some of the knocks on him coming out of the draft, skating was a big one, and he has fixed that. He's not the fastest skater in the world, but he's far, far better, far smoother than he was when he was drafted. He projects to be a future Montreal Canadien as soon as he can, really. As soon as he's done in college, I think he's jumping straight to the Habs, straight on the wing, and I can't wait for it to happen. He looks great. But that'll do it for this news edition of Habs Digest. If you enjoyed, leave it a like, subscribe to the channel. We're working our way up towards 3,000 subscribers. You guys are helping a ton with that, and we enjoy pumping out these daily videos for you guys. I've been your host, Josh Gosse, for my co-host, Jesse Poirier. We'll catch you in the next one.